Today we are diving together into Fantasy Cup, which is a fun format of Ultra League, and we're gonna check together 4 teams in total, while we're gonna analyze those teams in depth with their core breakers and their biggest assets, so that you can know what you can expect from your opponents and what you are strong against too. So let's see what we have for the first team showcase, because we're gonna start off with the Alola Sunslash, which was not here the last time that we have Fantasy Cup around. So Alola Sunslash now with Drill Run and Shadow Claw can definitely have a lot of coverage against the other Steel types, while the Ice Punch is gonna help it against the Dragons, which are gonna be also kinda everywhere, and this moveset is absolutely gonna help you not only against those typings, but also against the Fairies, which are also gonna be on their own absolutely everywhere in the meta. Speaking of the Fairy types, we also have one Fairy type here on our team as a closer this time. So this Pokemon is not gonna be a Charmer, but instead a Fairy Winter, and I think that Slurpuff with its moveset can cover a lot of meta threats in the current state of Fantasy Cup. I also think that Slurpuff can get to those moves fairly fast, so you can always rely on this Pokemon when shields are down to destroy down your remaining opponents. At the back, we're also gonna pair Slurpuff with our Giratina, which you already know how crazily good this Pokemon is on the Open Ultra League format, so I think that there is no more thought into it. You are just gonna go with it with its bulk. You can spam your way to victory with your Dragon Claws or Shadow Sneaks, but I also recommend going for the Shadow Force if you have its legacy move on your Giratina. As a core breaker, I think that PvP is suggesting Ready Steel. However, I do not see it as a big core breaker. You still have the Shadow Force or the Shadow Sneaks from your Giratina. You still have the Drill Runs from your Alola Sunslash, or even the Flamethrowers from Slurpuff, and that's why Slurpuff is one of the best closers in the game for Fantasy Cup. Moving on, we're gonna see that from a leader, we're gonna use Alola Sunslash as a core breaker for the next team composition. Doing so, we are gonna pair our Dragonite with a Fairy type at the back, and our only answer to Alola Sunslash is gonna be Empoleon. So I think that this team has a lot of potential. Okay, even against a threat like Alola Sunslash, you still have those Meteor Masses, which I think about 2, perhaps 2.5 will be enough to finish off that Alola Sunslash, and of course Super Power can also return into the battle with your Dragonite and proper rotation to grab a shield or at least destroy down this Pokemon. As long as they do not have a move like Powder Snow, I think that Dragonite is still safe, kinda safe at least, against that Alola Sunslash because of its ability to one-shot down with a potential superpower. Enough about the core breaker, let's see the synergy behind this team, because we're using a Dragon type up in front, a Steel type as our safe switch, and of course the closer is gonna be Clefable. This team has a lot of success with its charge attacks, while the fast attacks can kinda pressure as well. So we're looking at a pretty general team. I really like the synergy as to how you can manipulate your opponents, get out of the way the Red Steel in no time with either your superpower from the Dragonite, or just go in with your Empoleon to draw it out, and then a couple of Hydro Cannons in combination with the Waterfalls will just seal the deal, while your Clefable can absolutely remain absolutely as a whole core breaker for the remaining Pokemon that your opponent is gonna have. Double absolutely there, but it doesn't matter, we're still gonna be on a very good spot with Clefable as our closer. Also, this team is just gonna go pretty rough on the opponents in the general matter, so that's why I recommend it to you. Now, if you're thinking, Ganeto, we have the Fairy types, we have the Dragon types, so Steel types must be on the dominant side, right? Well, you're kinda right. So if you're looking for a triple Steel team, I think that this one is the best that you can use. Shadow Steelix, I recommend always Shadow for Steelix because of its ability to do even more damage after a few Psychic Fangs with those Dragon Tails, and I think also that you might want to carry the move Earthquake instead of Crunch. This Pokemon is absolutely insane for any outcome that the opponent might have, especially at the back with any backline, and also you can provide a lot of pressure with those fast attacks or even the Psychic Fangs or whatever will follow from your side. At the back we have Solgaleo and the Scavalier, which both can do a lot of pressure with their fast attack, so we're looking at a team that can definitely work on the fast attack factor, but still on the charge attack factor. You're gonna take those shields in no time at all, because you can always bait for that potential Earthquake from Steelix. You have Megahorn and Drill Run, 2 hard-hitting moves for Ultra League from your Escavalier, and also that Iron Head or Flamethrower that you might want to use on Solgaleo might be absolutely clutch for your battle against any opponent. As a core breaker, I think that Tapu Fini is just gonna dominate this team, but still you can see that we have some ways to play around it, so definitely with a lot of synergy you can manipulate even that matchup and still emerge victorious on whatever remains at the back. Into the final one now, and we're gonna see Tapu Fini being turned from a core breaker into a leader for this final one. So I think that Tapu Fini is just gonna dominate against a lot of matchups. It's perhaps the safest pick that you can use for the meta. Not a lot of grass types are gonna be around, not a lot of poison types, so definitely a notable mention for the meta of Fantasy Cup. Its real threat might only be something like a Registeel, and that's why when we're talking about Genesect, I recommend going for the Technoblast being fire. You can either choose something like a normal, electric or ice, but I think that fire is gonna help you even more than usual. So Genesect definitely one of the best closers for the Fantasy Cup, and definitely you need to check it out. Because Genesect is part steel, I always recommend going not with a Escavalier being part bug as well, to share the complete typings at the back, but I think that a simple steel type like Registeel can serve like a better safe switch for the meta of Fantasy Cup here on Ultra League, because it has a chance to debuff the opponent with a Zap Cannon, and that can be kind of a game changer for your Tapu Fini returning into the battle. Doing so, most of the times you're gonna draw out that steel counter that your opponent is gonna have, so that your Genesect is just gonna have the empty room and space to destroy down whatever remains at the back. This team has one clear weakness, and that is Galarian Weezing. However, it is not that bad for your team. You can still play around it, because Tapu Fini can have a fairly even matchup, even though it is gonna lose kinda soft to it, while at the back those overhits are not gonna be appreciated by your steel types. However, you still have a lot of play with the Magnet Bombs. You can either one-shot it down with the Zap Cannon from some range, and yeah, you can always play around this Pokemon, because it might be a core breaker but not that much of a harsh one. So that is gonna be all for today, trainers. Thank you for watching and for staying till the end. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more of my content here on YouTube. And speaking of more of my content, I have 2 videos for you to check out, so feel free to do so, and I will see you all into the next one.